Ross McIntire, Technical Director here at the Orpheum Theatre. And today we are joined by one of our lesser-known partners here at the theatre, one of our follow spots. This is a Lycean Superstar 1.2 from 2011. And it sits up here along with its twin over on the other side of the back of the balcony. It's where we are, if you can't tell. And this machine features not in all of our shows, but in a lot of our more heavily frequented shows. Any comedian you would have seen, any kind of a uppity dance number show like Tap Pack, where there's a lot of frenetic movement and things like that. Spotlights are really important to capture all aspects of the movement of the body. And also our local shows that always feature them are Choral Dynamics and the Performing Arts Academy, just to name the two that come to mind immediately. The controls are perhaps a little daunting for the novice, but very simple just when you go through them. This knob here controls the tilt of the machine, so that allows it to travel upstage and downstage on that XY axis. This one can be set in place and tightened with this knob. In case there's a comedian standing in a microphone, you just want to set it and forget it, as we say. But for a lot of movement, like in dance, you do want to kind of keep that knob loose so it has a lot of free movement. Down here right below, you have the pan knob. This one I always leave open. I don't think I've ever tightened it myself because it is the most common movement you'll have with the spotlight is stage left, stage right on that axis. As for the controls of the light beam itself, we have up here, the first one is what I call the closer, because it looks like an eye closing. I almost never use it. I think it looks a little dumb. It's when you have something, especially like this last knob, which is the dowser. And that, without any kind of, discernible shape, just snuffs out the light. It's almost like blowing out a candle, hence the term dowser. And so that can just be operated simply that way. The iris, however, which is this middle knob, the iris is what expands and tightens the pool of light. This can be used to adjust, say, if you're going from spotlighting a shorter child, then going up to spotlighting someone like Brian Wells, you're going to need to adjust the pool of that light significantly in that case. Over here then you have what's called the Boomerang. It is a row of little knobs and levers, they're levers, not knobs, that controls the gel frames. There's a bunch of little metal frames in there that you can put the color filters in, we call those gels, and it changes the color or the intensity of the light. This last one here we have actually has a frost in it, so it takes away the hard edge of the light pool and just kind of clouds it up. Down here, these two levers control the focus of the light and also the kind of the size of the general pool to begin with. Now the iris can contract and expand, but if you're actually looking to change the field angle, is what they call it, of the light, you adjust this knob here, and then this little thing here controls the focus of that, whether it's blurry or very sharp. The operation in terms of turning it on is remarkably simple. There's two buttons, on and off. Lucky me. So you just go ahead and give that on button a punch, and it starts kind of groaning like any electronic instrument would. It needs to warm up for a little bit, but you'll start to see various places of light peeking through. It's a very bright kind of light. It works with an arc principle, is what they call it. Two electrodes inside of a glass bubble are just not touching. And when electricity is passed through them, the electrical arc from one electrode to the other, as the electricity zips over there, is so bright and so hot, really. You're not supposed to touch this with anything, especially not your shirt. It's so bright that it can create that light that just cuts down, going hundreds of feet. Actually, this spotlight is built to go a little bit further even than our theater. It could actually reach back out into the parking lot still with a pretty good intensity on it. So at this point, now that it's nice and warmed up, Joey is going to run down on stage and help give me a demonstration of the various functions of the spotlight. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we have Joey coming out on stage now to help demonstrate the spotlight, and there he is. We pick him up, we size it to his body properly, and we follow him about. He goes where he goes, he does a dance. He's coming down front. Look at him go. So, The whole idea is to be able to provide different kinds of lighting for different situations. Now, as Joey stands there, we may realize that during his big intimate song, where there's not a whole lot else going on stage, we might bring the iris in a little bit, just to focus on his upper body. We don't need to see his shoes. So he might expound, he might have a moment, they might be doing a set change in the background, who knows. And as soon as that's done, we'll open it back up. Generally, unless they have interesting shoes of some kind or it's very important to see the floor, we won't do all the way to the ground. But with dancing, it's almost required to show the feet. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? So when we douse the light, as we call it, to gently close it, it just fades right out. Now when we use what I called the closer, which looks like an eye blinking, it looks, well, like an eye blink. Look at that. And so the spotlight can be rather large. And let me adjust the focus. There we go. The spotlight can be large if we need to accommodate like a full company, but you'll see right there the folly of the way this spotlight works lower on stage as you see the balcony railing. That is not a new problem. And there you have it. That is the magic of spotlight operation. We'd like to give a special shout out to everybody who's ever operated a spotlight in the Orpheum Theatre, because we know how hot it gets up here at the back of the auditorium. That's all we have time for this week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.